Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the CLNS Patriots pregame show for Week 7 against the Atlanta Falcons. My name is Alex Barth. Thanks for joining us on an evening edition of the show. Obviously, later game, later pregame, but we're still going to bring you through everything, get you ready for tonight's contest, and of course, there will be a little bit of reminiscing about 28-3 as well, and all your questions, comments, whatever you want to get in. More than happy to take any of it, whether you're joining us on the CLNS YouTube page or on Periscope. Just put those comments in the chat, put those questions in the chat, and I'm more than happy to talk about it. But before we get to that, real quick, I just want to remind everybody that this episode is sponsored by Greats, the maker of the all-time greats, which are classic, stylish, and comfortable sneakers sold at a great price. Greats, it's out of Brooklyn. It's Brooklyn's first sneaker company, and you know how much they like their originals down in Brooklyn. They sell all the Greats classic styles, made the best for less. They have a wide selection of men's and women's shoes, versatile styles for any occasion. So whether you're going to the game or you're going to the ceremony to collect your ring, Greats has something for you. Tons of different colors and materials to choose from, including the all-leather Royal lace-ups and the Worcester slip-ons. Great shoes. Check it out. This is the best part. They have a guarantee, so you don't like the shoes you want, no risk return and exchange policy. They'll send you another pair. You'll work it out. They will get you in something that you want to be wearing, that you're excited to be wearing on your feet. And if you check it out right now at greats.com, we've got a special deal for you. If you use our promo code TRAGS, Steve Petraglia, who does our Patriots coverage, TRAGS, you'll get 15% off your first order, TRAGS. That's TRAGS at checkout on greats.com to get 15% off your first order. We want to thank Greats for sponsoring the podcast. I mentioned TRAGS, of course. This is the CLNS Patriots pregame show. CLNS has your coverage throughout the game, everything throughout the evening. I'll have you pregame. We're going to go for about half an hour up until 8 o'clock or so. After that, Mike Petraglia will take over on Twitter. You can follow him at Trags. And then Mike and Marv have you postgame back right here on the CLNS YouTube page. Again, breaking down Patriots, Falcons, getting ready. And this is really... It's time to show up or go home for both of these teams. The Patriots are 4-2. The Falcons coming in 3-2. They've already had their bye. A little bit of Super Bowl hangover for both sides. We all know what the Patriots have done, coming out cold. They've had a lot of troubles, especially defensively, and we'll get into that throughout the show. But the Falcons, if you're not paying attention, their last two games, they're 3-2. They won the first three. Not always easily. They had a win against Detroit earlier in the year, which they won essentially at the last second, which was a touchdown being overturned because Golden Tate didn't reach the line to gain as the clock expired in the fourth quarter. But their last two games, they blew a 17-point lead to the Dolphins, and they blew a 10-point lead last week as well. So the Falcons are coming in cold, beat up a little bit. This is a chance for the Patriots to show up, say, we beat these guys last year, we beat them handily, we can do it again and really right the ship. We all know with the Patriots what September is. It's preseason part 2, okay? They always struggle in September. When they won the Super Bowl in 2014, they were 2-2 in September, just like they were last year. And they struggle against the Jets from time to time. But this is the kind of game, once you get into the latter part of the season, it's Week 7. We're halfway there, and I know that really snuck up on us, but we're just about halfway there. This is the kind of game, another supposedly great team coming in, prime time. Tom Brady and the Patriots normally feast in these games. And if this really is a Super Bowl champion team, we'll know tonight. I know I said that a couple weeks ago against Tampa Bay, and guess what? It was inconclusive because that game was absolute garbage for reasons both within and out of the Patriots' control. But tonight, it's not cutting time again. The Patriots, this would be an old-school Patriots win to come out and just demolish the Atlanta Falcons. Now, will that happen? And that's what we're here to talk about. Again, if you guys have any questions or comments, I see a first and a second in on YouTube. If you guys have anything more substantial to add as well, please put it over there in the comment chart. That's to my left. If you're on Periscope, it's down below. If you're listening to the record on clnsmedia.com, sorry you missed the show. You can join us next week. 1 o'clock kickoff next week, so we will be back to our 12 o'clock start time, as we always do, an hour or so before kickoff. Can the Patriots stop the Falcons tonight? Well, one guy who's inactive, they could have used him, and that's Landon Roberts. I know he hasn't been great in coverage this year. I know he's been bad in coverage. He's been a liability. But they're weak at linebacker. It seems like Belichick doesn't want to play David Harris for whatever reason. Your guess is as good as mine. He looked to be in shape in camp. He looked to have figured things out. Obviously, you're going to want to rush Hightower in this game. You're going to want to bring him off the edge. Chris Long was the key last year. He was huge in the Super Bowl. You don't have him. So you can replace that with Hightower, but who is in coverage for you at linebacker? Obviously, no Harvey Longy. He's still recovering. We wish the best to him, but you leaning, Shea McClellan's still not back. Who are you leaning on? And again, there's no Gilmore and there's no Eric Rowe. So those safeties you might use in a Patrick Chung or Deron Harmon, you need them helping out. Jonathan Batamosi is going to play corner tonight. And last week, without Gilmore and Rowe, I threw out the name Jonathan Jones, and I figured that was the guy. And we were going to ride or die with him as fans watching him. And then Jonathan Batamosi steps out at cornerback? What? That is a special teams guy through and through. And he got eaten alive. I know Mike Reese had him on his 3-ups, I think just because he showed up and played corner. But the Patriots have a problem at that position. They need the safeties to step up tonight. So who else are we putting in a linebacker? Who else are we going to see a linebacker from the Patriots? Who else are they putting in? Maybe it's Jordan Richards. They've done that before. We've seen how that goes. It's not great. But maybe Jordan Richards is the answer. And that concerns me. I don't like Jordan Richards on Devonta Freeman. I don't. Or on Tevin Coleman, for that matter. And you can't count on Coleman getting hurt again, like you did in the Super Bowl. So, in terms of inactives, we always go through that at the top of the show. Roberts, Gilmore, Rowe, no other big surprise for the Patriots. This one surprised me. On the other side, as we have some more comments coming in again, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to share them on YouTube or on Periscope, and I'm more than happy to touch on whatever you want me to talk about, previewing the Patriots and the Falcons on the CLNS Patriots pregame show, brought to you by Greats.com. The one name in terms of an active list that surprised me, and actually surprised me because it wasn't there, was Mohamed Sanu. He didn't play last week. He's been dealing with an injury. They weren't sure if he was going to play. He's a go tonight. So they will have Mohamed Sanu, Taylor Gabriel, of course, Julio Jones, Coleman, everybody. It's a full go for this Falcons offense around Matt Ryan. And it took Tevin Coleman getting hurt last year in the Super Bowl for the Patriots to start to pick up momentum. Now, it wasn't just that, but that was part of it. So you're dealing with that. I don't know how much they prepared for Mohamed Sanu. I know it's Belichick. I know he did his due diligence. But it really seemed like he wasn't going to play. So where do you go from there? He's the kind of guy that always kills the Patriots. Gabriel, the speedster, he'll burn him once or twice, but they'll keep him in check with a deep safety. Julio Jones, you're going to do what you're going to do. He's going to kill you either way. They held him to 4 catches in the Super Bowl last year. They're 4 huge catches. But they held him to 4 catches in the Super Bowl. If he does that again tonight, I'm fine with that. But Mohamed Sanu is the kind of guy that always beats them because he can do a little bit of everything. He's hard to game plan for because he goes everywhere. He's the Falcons' answer to Danny Amendola. Him being active or inactive was kind of swaying me in terms of my prediction. So we have some predictions coming in. Andre has it Patriots 40-20. I feel like we always have that guy in the chat here on the CLNS pregame show. I appreciate your optimism. I would love it. I'm not going that far. I like the 40. It's the 20 that has me on pause. Just what we've seen from this defense. And maybe tonight's the night they step up. We say it every week. We know the Patriots struggles early in the year. Maybe this week was the week. They figure it all out in practice and they go. But with no Roberts, no Gilmore, no Rowe, I don't know. Yeah, Chris weighing in has the makings of a shootout. Absolutely, Chris. I think you pound the over on this one. You absolutely pound the over. Very thin in the middle. I missed that comment. I'm assuming that's from Chris on YouTube again. I'm assuming that was referring to the linebackers. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of Jordan Richards in this game. And that does not make me comfortable. I do not like the idea of Jordan Richards making big plays in this game. If he does it, I'm all for it. But he struggled. He's still too small to play linebacker. I know he's kind of has a weird skill set for safety, and you see guys transition up into the box like that. Mark Barron in LA with the Rams is a great example. Jordan Richards is a far, far leap from Mark Barron. And I see what Belichick's trying to do. I just don't think the talent's there. Ryan Christie on YouTube. Falcons might show up and prove something. Both of these teams are coming in here with a lot to prove. This is not just a Super Bowl rematch. Had these teams not met in the Super Bowl last year, there is still an insane amount of hype for this team. For these teams, both ways. The Falcons, 2 multi-score leads blown and lost back-to-back. The Patriots, one of the worst defenses in NFL history through 6 games. I think both teams have a lot to prove. Honestly, I think the Patriots have more. Because what have the detractors said? All summer long, all offseason, 28-3 was a fluke. The Falcons lost that game. The Patriots didn't win it. I think the Patriots have more to prove. Weigh in. Let me hear what you guys have to think. Who has more to prove in this game? Is it the New England Patriots or the Atlanta Falcons? As we bring you up to kickoff here on the CLNS Patriots pregame show. My name's Alex Barth. Thanks for tuning in. This is the beginning of our coverage for the night. CLNS's Patriots coverage for the night. After this, Mike Petraglia will have you. He has you live throughout the game with analysis at Trags on Twitter. And then afterwards, Mike and Marv will have the post game to break it all down. I caught some of their show last week. I thought they did a great job. That was such a tough game to really break apart because the Patriots won, but they won it in the strangest way. It felt like a loss. You walked away feeling like the Patriots lost that game. Maybe that was just me. But I walked away feeling like the Patriots lost that game. I thought so. Make sure you check out Mike and Marv after the game. We got some more comments coming in here on YouTube. Some people saying the Falcons have more to prove tonight. Met Jonathan mentioning the running backs. I can't say I've followed the Falcons under a microscope. I feel like every time I turn them on, Devonta Freeman's making a play. Maybe I'm turning them on at the wrong time. I haven't seen much from Tevin Coleman. So I'll give you that, Jonathan. And I think Coleman's the one who has a lot to prove because he tapped out of that game last year. And that might have been the difference. So we all saw in Do Your Job 2, the Hightower blitz that forced the fumble. That was Colvin not being in the game. So for sure Colvin, I think, needs to step up tonight. There, Jonathan. Ryan saying he doesn't think the Patriots defense can hold the Falcons. I think we all agree on that. The question is, can the Falcons defense hold the Patriots? Because the Falcons defense hasn't been good by any means either. They're not as historically bad as the Patriots, but they've been bad. And it's Brady. So it literally, like, we may be looking at 50-40, and that's a little above what my actual prediction is going to be. But it's going to be a shootout. Chris, if there was ever a time for Harris to make markets tonight, I don't know if you missed the start of the show there, Chris. I 100% agree with you, especially with Roberts out, with Hightower. I would expect him to be coming at the quarterback a lot tonight, coming off the edge. You need somebody in the middle there. No Roberts, obviously no Longy. Shea McClellan still working his way back. Jordan Richards, I feel like I'm missing a linebacker. Remind me who it is because I can't think of it off the top of my head. Absolutely, I think this is the game for David Harris tonight. Now, I've said that a couple of times this year. I'm not going to shy away from that. I've been high on David Harris when I apparently should not have been, according to Belichick. But, yeah, I think David Harris should play. I would rather see David Harris tonight than Jordan Richards. I don't know if Belichick feels the same way, but I'd rather see Harris than Richards. What I don't want to see is 6 defensive backs playing prevent defense in the first quarter like we've seen throughout the season. Matt Patricia, as good as he was last year, has been terrible this year. Awful. They are playing every game. They were down 14 against the Jets in the first half. Frankly, both sides of the ball. Playing like they were protecting a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter. I want to see, not necessarily more aggressive play calling, because I don't know if you can afford to be aggressive with this defense, but not so conservative. Like, come up, try to make a play. It's like every corner on the field is Logan Ryan. You feel good about them because they make every tackle, but they make every tackle because they're 10 yards off their man. There's no contested balls. The completion percentage is through the roof. Be a little more realistic with the play call. I know you don't have the talent you wanted, but force Matt Ryan to make some throws tonight. I believe he's thrown an interception every game this year. I know it's the last couple. Don't give him these 10-yard windows tonight. Force him to make some throws, even if it's Jonathan Batamosi, for whatever reason, out there in coverage. Put him in man and see what happens. Because I'll tell you what, if he gets burnt, it's no different than what's going on right now. That's my rant. I actually didn't even have that one planned. That just kind of came to me. Thank you for whoever put me on that tangent as you're watching the CLNS Patriots pregame show. My name's Alex Barth. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube or Periscope. We have a lot of comments coming in. I love it. Stay interactive. If you have any, please feel free, put it in the box to it's my left, right? Yep, my left on YouTube or down below on Periscope. And make sure, if you miss it or you want to go back, clnsmedia.com. We'll have the replay of this show, the audio replay afterwards, and your coverage throughout the game as well. All right, I'm leaning in here to get some more of these comments. Something about the Patriots getting calls. Yeah, the officiating this year has been bad. I don't know if you watched that Celtics game the other night. That felt like a football game that sent me back to Thursday Night Football. The refs are always going to be a factor. They need it. They supposedly did some stuff in the offseason, cleaning up, hired a few full-time referees. I think the officiating's taken a step back this year. These guys need to be full-time. The league can afford it. They can train in the offseason, get better in the offseason. I think we need full-time officials. Okay, Chris Blakely. Yes, Chris. Yes. Thank you very much. Chris on YouTube says, don't be surprised if you see Flowers drop into coverage this game. Why are they dropping on third downs Trey Flowers, who is a defensive end? They did this in the opener with Cassius Marsh, and they stopped doing it with Marsh. They realized he couldn't cover. Now they're doing it with Trey Flowers, who should rush the quarterback every damn play. They're dropping Trey Flowers back into coverage. I do not understand it. I see no reason for it. And then on top of that, on 4th and 8, they're blitzing Malcolm Butler, their only good corner left, with Rowan Gilmore out. Stop 100%. Stop putting Trey Flowers in coverage. He can't do it. That's not the answer. When you're getting beat with speed, the answer is not to put your defensive end in coverage. If you want to do it maybe once on a 3rd and 25 to catch Matt Ryan off guard, you think they're going screen? Fine. Outside of that, no. He's going at the quarterback. And don't be blitzing Malcolm Butler in obvious passing situations. They got lucky last week. I hated that call. I'm okay with the safety blitz. I like the safety blitz. I've always been a fan of that play, if you guys are right. I really have never been a fan of the corner blitz. Yes, it can be effective against an unaware quarterback. And I guess if you want to run it against the dregs that are being run out by the New York Jets, or, well, at the time we didn't know Deshaun Watson was going to be the superstar he is, but the Houston Texans, you know, if you want to run against the Josh McCowns of the world, fine. Don't run against Matt Ryan. He's seen it. Run the other way. You're probably going to have a good chance getting beat. Running back against it, if somebody gets a crackback block on the corner, you're going to get beat, and you're leaving somebody open. So, in addition to not putting Trey Flowers in coverage, and Chris, that's a great point. Good job picking up on that. Let's cut it out with the Malcolm Butler blitzes late in the game as well, in passing situations. Let's just cut. You know what? If they still had Stephon Gilmore, maybe I'd feel a little better because his skill set is better suited. That's not. It's not even like Malcolm Butler's a run support corner. He's not that guy. Don't want to see it. Ryan on YouTube. I know you're a New England fan, but that call last week was not good. New England should have lost. Okay, yeah. Oh, so I know what call you're. Okay, yeah. The Austin Swearinger-Jenkins one. Look, if the officials saw the ball come out, and look, I am a Patriots fan. I've not been shy about that on the show, but I'd like to think I'm a realist. If the official thought the ball went out and he didn't regain full possession before it crossed the goal line, he made the right call. If that's what he saw. And it was tough to see. Now, hate the rule all you want. It's a bad rule. But if that's what the official saw, I understand. Now, if that was the original call, I understand it being upheld. I don't really understand how the call gets changed from that. Yeah, I didn't get it, Chris. Or Ryan, pardon me, Chris the other one. Ryan, I'll give you that. I thought that was a weird call. I was not expecting it. What the rule should be is, and I understand, okay, so the reason that's a rule is if I'm about to be tackled at the 1, and if you already know this, I'm sorry, but just to clarify for the people who don't understand. If I'm about to be tackled at the 1, I know I have somebody right next to me, 2-on-1 situation, going towards the end zone. What stops me from just fumbling, air quotes, fumbling the ball into the end zone, he recovers touchdown. The offense cannot score on a fumble that was not fumbled in the end zone. If it's fumbled outside of the end zone, you can't recover it. Now, what I would do is give the ball back to the team that fumbled at the 20. Because the Patriots were certainly not the last team to touch that ball. That's a rule that will be worked on in the offseason. You're right. That was a weird call. In terms of the missing field goals in Tampa, look, you can throw shoulda, coulda, woulda's out for any NFL game. Patriots won that game. I'm not going to shoulda, coulda, woulda on field goals. I'm not going to do that. Because there were a bunch of plays that the Bucs made that they probably shouldn't have made. And I'm not going to get into that. So They beat Tampa. That being said, they barely beat Tampa, who's clearly not a good team, because they lost to the Bills today, and that was ugly. And we can touch on some of the other games from earlier today, too, if you guys want, this being our first late show. New England needs to pay Butler. Ryan, you're right. But the way he's played so far, he's not going to get the contract he wants. Somebody will be dumb enough to give it to him. I don't see I don't see him back in New England next year. I don't. I think they should have paid him this offseason, and supposedly there was something funny with the agent, and they were going to pay him. Stephon Gilmore, and I said this going in, before we knew what a train wreck he would be, Stephon Gilmore was not worth the contract they gave him, 100%. He was worth maybe $7, $8 million for 1 year as a second corner. That's what he's a good, not great second corner. That's what he is. But they overpaid him. Chris, multiple Pro Bowler for Flowers, no doubt. Yeah, I've loved Trey Flowers since he came out. I loved his tape at Arkansas. I think missing his freshman year with the torn ACL, got injured in his first preseason game after a monster sack on Aaron Rodgers, by the way. Google it. I thought he looked good at Arkansas. Getting hurt that first year, obviously he's not good, but he really got a chance to get in NFL shape because the question was coming in, did he have an NFL body? He gets it was essentially a year off, comes back, and yeah, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be a factor for a long time. We haven't seen a pass rusher like him in a while. All the good pass rushers now, your Von Millers, your Khalil Macks, they're speed guys. Yeah, they have their strength, but the spin move, the swim move, the finesse move, those are their go-to. We haven't seen a power rusher like this. Like, he reminds me of Julius Peppers a little bit. And I know that's a big name to be throwing out, and he's not there yet, but just the raw push he gets off the line, that doesn't fade. So, yeah, I'm very high. I've been very high on Trey Flowers. I think multiple Pro Bowls. Ryan with another Malcolm Butler comment. Yeah, Stephon Gilmore's garbage. I watched him on the Bulls. I did not like the signing. What else? Chris talking about Gilmore's communications problems, 100%. Jonathan says, I think the defense is underrated. They match up against pass-heavy teams and struggle versus the run. Yeah, you know what? It's always been about the defense struggling. It's always been bend, don't break with the Patriots. We know that. We've known that, right? That's nothing new. This year they started giving up points. The red zone defense was a mess, whether it be Landon Roberts and, yeah, the big plays. The last couple weeks, they've given up under 20 both games. And Belichick's never cared about yards allowed. That's never been an issue of his. Obviously, he'd like to give up less yards. But if their defense is holding teams to under 20 points a game, he's going to be pretty happy. Now, it was the Bucs, who I still think have a pretty good offense. But it was the Tampa team that's clearly struggled, and the Jets, who are not a great team. If they can come out tonight and hold the Falcons to under, let's call it 21 points, 21 or less, 3 touchdowns, maybe 24 the field goal, they should win tonight if they hold the Falcons to 24 points. Let me start there. If they hold the Falcons to 24 points, regardless of the yardage, I'm going to feel pretty good. Now, that being said, if it's like a 21-21 game and they have a bad drive late, that's another story because you still got to be situational. But the points are starting to come down, and that to me is a good sign. And they're doing so without Eric Rowe and without Stephon Gilmore. And as much as we rip on Gilmore, it will help having him back, believe it or not. It will. He is a good enough player. He's not a great player, but he is a good enough player. So, tonight's, again, a big night for the defense. You're right, Jonathan. I think, I don't know if underrated is the word. I think people are looking at, how do I want to phrase this without getting cold taked here? I think people are looking at it from a fantasy football point of view and not a X's and O's point of view. X's and O's, they have not been bad the last 2 weeks. Again, under 20 points both games. They've made some big situational plays. I think they've gotten to the quarterback a lot. They just need to learn how. It's the tackling that's killing me. And I've said this for 3 or 4 years. I'm a football traditionalist. I'm a total get-off-my-lawn kind of guy with football, like a lot of people are with baseball. I'm not like that with baseball, by the way. Give me the pitch clock. Give me the shorter games, all of it. But with football, I am a total traditionalist. I hate shoulder tackling to no end. I will get up and yell at the TV when I see guys shoulder tackle, even if it's a successful tackle. Wrap the guy up, bring him to the ground. It's Pop Warner day one. This isn't college. You're not bigger than everybody else on the field anymore, especially against these running backs tonight and against Julio Jones. Wrap and tackle. No more shoulder tackling. Devin McCourty being the one exception. I think he's been outstanding. I think he's been one of the best defensive players in football this year. He's been the saving grace for this defense. He is a technically sound player, a fundamentally sound player, very intelligent player, just an all-around amazing safety. And considering he started his career at corner, that's really saying something. But the rest of the defense, just bring the guy down with your arms. Stop trying to look flashy, especially when you're going after the quarterback. How many sacks have they missed this year just because they didn't tackle the guy? They were there, but they just didn't tackle him. So, yeah, the defense, I don't know about underrated because they still can't tackle. But I think people are a little too alarmed simply because the issues are fixable. The issues are very fixable, and we've seen them fix these issues before and win with these issues before. Even if they're not totally fixed, they can get them fixed enough to the point they can win. I don't know if underrated is the term, but I think the panic level in New England is a little too high. We got Chris weighing in on the Trey Flowers comment. Him and Dietrich Wise, I love the Arkansas combination. We got a question here on Periscope from, I think that says Elias. How do I think they'll utilize Rex Burkhead tonight? Great question. Love it. I want to talk about Rex Burkhead tonight. He will be back for the first time since week 2. I think we see a lot of him tonight. I think you're going to see a lot of him, a lot of James White. Dion Lewis had a good game last week. We'll probably see him. I don't know how much Mike Gillislee we see tonight after the fumble, but I think Rex Burkhead with the pass rush, Deion Jones, Vic Beasley, the pass rush that the Falcons have, in my opinion, Rex Burkhead is their best blocking running back. 3rd and longs, even 2nd and longs, when you know the Falcons are pinning their ears back, I think we're going to see a good amount of Rex Burkhead in late downs and in 8 or longer situations. I think they use him to block a lot tonight. They'll probably throw him the ball a couple times. He's probably in the 20 to 25 snap range. I'd put him at 20 to 25. This is all just guessing. I would put James White's probably going to get the most. He's probably going to be high 20s, low 30s. Dion White's probably going to be in that 15 to 20 range. I think we'll see a lot of 2 running back sets at times. I think you will see a lot. 3rd and 10, give me James White and Rex Burkhead. And let the Falcons figure out which one you're sending out on a route and which one's taking a block. I think a lot of 2 running back sets tonight. I am excited to see Rex Burkhead tonight. I think you're not going to see him a lot on first down. You're not going to see him a lot in short yardage situations. I wouldn't be surprised, though. That being said, no short yardage situations, especially with Gillislee's fumble last week. I wouldn't be surprised if they ran Rex Burkhead out there in the red zone and try to get him off tackle. He had success with that. Limited, they didn't use him a lot. But when they did, he was pretty good at getting in from not the 1-yard line, but the 3-4 yard line, going off tackle on a pitch, an outside handoff last year in Cincinnati. So maybe a little bit of red zone work for Burkhead if the situation presents itself. And we'll see where Belichick's at with Gillislee. You know what? Maybe he had a good week at practice and the fumbles in the past, but let's be honest. With Bill Belichick, is the fumble ever really in the past? Some people think that's the lone reason LeGarrette Blount's not back in New England, was that Super Bowl fumble. Because as we heard in the offseason, I think this is fascinating. Belichick uses the final game of the year, whatever it may be, win or loss, Super Bowl, conference championship, divisional round, whatever, as 50% of the player's grade for the season. And if that's the case, they had a very low grade on LeGarrette Blount in the offseason. So, yeah, to go back to Rex Burkhead, I think 3rd and longs, 2nd and longs, and maybe a little goal line work. We got here weighing in on YouTube, Jonathan, long pass offense. Yeah, the Patriots are never going to be statistically pretty on defense. Even when they're clicking, they never are. What about Philip Dorsett? We got a question on Periscope. I have Philip Dorsett in fantasy, to be honest. I thought he was going to be the sleeper of the year. They might run him with an end around tonight. To me, they're using him tonight in motion a lot. They're going to use him as the motion guy. I just want to remind everybody before I get into that, this is the CLNS Media Patriots pregame show, taking up for the next 10-15 minutes or so, really as long as the questions keep coming in. We don't have to be off till 8:20. I normally go half an hour, but we'll go a little longer tonight, special game Sunday night. Get your questions in on YouTube or Periscope. But again, brought to you by CLNS, greats.com. Check out CLNS Media for a repeat of the show, the replay of the show. You can follow us on Twitter at CLNS Media, at Trags. Mike Petraglia will take you through the game with our coverage, and Mike and Marv have you post-game. Follow me as well at TheRealAlexB. If you're watching on Periscope, you already found my Twitter there. If you're watching on YouTube, my Twitter's in the description of this video. So we were talking about Philip Dorsett. If you went back, and I watched a little bit of film last week of the Falcons game against the Dolphins, and where they really had trouble defensively was against motion. They had trouble picking up motion. And we've seen the Patriots at times. It happened a lot in their 2nd game of the year against the Saints. They've gone back to that 2001 heavy motion misdirection offense. We've seen a lot of end arounds, motion bubble screens, that kind of thing. A little bit of bootleg action. I think we'll see that tonight. And Philip Dorsett, I don't want Brandon Cooks really running the end arounds because he can get hurt. Maybe you do it once or twice in a game. If you're going to run some of those end arounds, I'd love to see them run them to Dorsett tonight. So I think if we see him, it's in that play, because expect the Patriots to use a lot of motion with their wide receivers tonight. I think that's going to be something that they'll focus heavily on, and that could be Philip Dorsett. We've got some more comments coming in here on YouTube. Yeah, just people commenting on the missed tackles. Yeah, I really don't get it. And yeah, okay, so Chris bringing up the other point. So normally I have my rundown, but loving the interaction this week, loving the questions. The offensive line was something I wanted to touch on. And the offensive line, in my opinion, has been saved by a historically bad performance from the defense. And let me explain. If the defense is, I don't know, 70% of what it was last year, remember how good they were last year now. If it was 70% of what it was last year, we are, as the media and Patriots fans, are going to town on this offensive line, how bad they've been. Marcus Cannon has taken a major step back. Nate Solder cannot take a step back because that's a major part of pass blocking, is the first step, which he cannot do. He has been garbage. The interior has been so-so. It's really been the tackles, but the offensive line has been a major problem, and I'm glad people are starting to pick up on that. Because Brady needs his time. You see it. He starts getting hit, and now he has the shoulder injury. He's out of sorts. They need a big game from those guys tonight because the Falcons are going to bring pressure off the edge. Again, Deion Jones and Vic Beasley. So I really, really am waiting for those guys to get back to the form they were last year in terms of Cannon and Solder, and they just haven't. I don't know what it is, but I think this is Solder's last year in the NFL. Tony Garcia, the Patriots' second draft pick, has just disappeared into thin air. He's on the NFI list. I've Googled it. I've looked on Twitter. Nobody seems to. They know they're not reporting on when or if he's coming back. He's fallen off the face of the earth. They need an answer, a tackle, and maybe it means Rob Gronkowski's blocking more. Let Dwayne Allen block because he certainly can't catch, but they need to do something about the soul line because, yeah, it has been a major, major problem. Ryan says, what do I think about the Bills versus the Patriots this year, wins and losses? The Bills are 4-2 now, right, after that win today? I think I saw that right. That was a good win for them today, even if the Bucs lost it. I would say more than the Bills won it. So this is what's going to happen with the Buffalo Bills, because it happens every year. They're going to be right around 500, maybe a game or two over, and they're going to have a chance to make the playoffs. Probably as a wild card. I think the Patriots will pull away, but they'll have a real chance to make the playoffs. And their last 3 games, I believe, are against the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Browns. And they're going to lose one of those games, and it's going to cost them the playoffs. I think they have the Dolphins at home, Week 17. They're going to lose that game, and it's going to cost them the playoffs. So that's what happens with the Bills every year. They'll be 8-8 and miss the playoffs by one game. I just saw a question on Periscope. I didn't get it. If you want to type it back in, I'll be more than happy to answer it. Chris, yeah, talking about the running backs blocks tonight, not just chip blocks. They're going to need to stay on their guys a little bit, especially Burkhead. I talked about it earlier. Big night for Rex Burkhead. He's got to be able to set those blocks. He's going to be key on third down. So there's catching the ball, stand and release. If we see some of that with him, I think that's absolutely in play. Really, the keys for the offense tonight are blocking from the, well, obviously blocking, the offensive line needs to block well, but they're going to need some blocks from players who aren't offensive linemen, whether it be Dwayne Allen, Rex Burkhead, whoever, Rob Gronkowski. I think motion is big. I want to see a lot of motion tonight. Confuse that Falcons defense. They had trouble with it last week. And I hold on to the football because you can't give this Falcons team turnovers. They are so good. Matt Ryan is so good at coming out and getting that quick strike after turnover and sucking all the air out of a building. And Gillette is going to be electric tonight. It is going to be a heck of an atmosphere. The Patriots can't have one of these, Brady throws the early pick or overthrows somebody on third down and they punt right away. I kind of want the Falcons to get the ball first because the Patriots defense the last couple weeks has actually been good to start the game. Think about it. They had a 3-and-out to start against Tampa, and they almost had a 3-and-out to start against the Jets, save a bad penalty. So I almost want the Falcons to come out first because the Patriots can get a stop. If this defense can come out, get a stop against this Falcons offense on the first drive and send that Patriots offense out on the field, who has been really good to open games, and you can take a 7-0 lead and have the ball going in the second half. If we're sitting there at, it's an 8:30 kick, we're sitting there at 8:45, Patriots are leading 7-0, each team's had one drive, I'm going to be feeling very, very good about this game. And with this Patriots team this year, I know Brady's had a late comeback, but you kind of can tell early on what kind of games it's going to be. Again, this is the Patriots CLNS Media pregame show. My name's Alex Barth. Thanks for tuning in, getting you ready for kickoff here, leading up. We're going in a little extra time tonight, a little overtime, since it is Sunday Night Football. It is the Super Bowl rematch. We're running the show a little late to take your questions and comments. Anything you want to talk about this game, or if you want to reminisce 28-3, you can put it down below on Periscope or to my left on YouTube. More than happy to talk about whatever it is you guys want to talk about. At some point during the show, every week, I normally go back to a notable game between the Patriots and their opponent. We got a question about the Dolphins. Jay Cutler's out. I think Matt Moore is better than Jay Cutler to begin with. Cue the Colin Kaepernick talk with Jay Cutler missing some time, though. That team sucks. I normally go back and pick a game. We did the butt fumble with the Jets a couple weeks ago, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I think it's too easy to pick last year's Super Bowl, so I'm not going to as my notable game. I'm going to go back to 2001, Michael Vick's rookie year, and the Patriots gave him a rude awakening in Atlanta. They tossed Chris Chandler from the game. I forget if it was injury or he just got the crap beat, or he was just playing terribly. But they put Michael Vick in the game, and Vick looked horrible. And there's a bunch of quotes, if you look it up, from Atlanta writers the next day who were very down on Michael Vick. And I always found that funny. Because that is, I think, when also a lot of people realize exactly how good that defense was in 2001. So that is my notable Patriots-Falcons game, because I'm going to pass on the easy one. I've been wearing my Barstool 28-3 shirt around the house all day. I'll pass at that one. Ryan says it's going to be close. Having Gronk back is the difference maker. There was no Gronk in the Super Bowl last year, and it is important to remember that. We'll see what the Falcons' plan is for him. That's certainly going to be interesting. Yeah, he'll be a difference maker. I don't know if the Falcons have a matchup guy for him. To me, I don't know how well he can cover, but Vic Beasley is at least a comparable athlete. That being said, I don't know if you want to take Vic Beasley out of the pass rush, if you want to put him in coverage, if he has the coverage skills to keep up with Gronk. But in terms of pure athleticism, he's probably the closest thing they have on that defense. You're obviously not going to put a corner on him. I'm not a huge fan of the Falcons safeties. They've been getting beat over the top the last couple of weeks. They're also small at safety, so I wouldn't go that way either. That's an interesting wrinkle. And again, I talked about Mohamed Sanu. He played in the Super Bowl last year, but playing tonight when he wasn't expected to. And Rob Gronkowski, give me Rob Gronkowski in that matchup. So I'm all about that. Again, if you guys have any late questions or comments here on the show, we're going to start to wrap things up. But I'll take a few more questions or comments about tonight's game if you can get them in. In the meantime, my prediction for tonight, I have a tongue-in-cheek prediction and an actual prediction. My tongue-in-cheek prediction, just because I want to get this on record, is Patriots win 28-3. And that's my tongue-in-cheek prediction, and I will clip just that quote out if it comes. But I have the Patriots winning 28-3 tonight over the Atlanta Falcons, because the NFL is nuts and all about irony, and that would be the most beautiful thing in the world if the Patriots won 28-3. Now, there's no way their defense holds this Atlanta team to 3 points. My real prediction, look, I hate these revenge games in any sport. Any sport, generally in the revenge game, the team that's getting the revenge wins. But the Cavaliers beat the Celtics, and in the 7 all-time matchups following when the teams who played in the Super Bowl play the next year, the Super Bowl winner is 5-2. So in that vein, I'm going to go Patriots 35 and Falcons 28. Patriots 35, Falcons 28. That's my actual prediction. Gronk being back. One more from Ryan. No, yeah, having Gronk back has done wonders for the offense. Not just as a pass catcher, but as a blocker too. He is a great. This Patriots team, in terms of the blockers, and I know he's not playing this year, and this is a conversation for another time. But real quick, Hines Ward is the de facto. Like, if you ask most people in football, Hines Ward is the best all-time blocking wide receiver. Watch the tape of the Super Bowl, and really that whole season, Julian Edelman should be in that conversation. I think we can put Julian Edelman right up there, if not past Hines Ward, as the greatest blocking wide receiver of all time, because he certainly has a claim. D. Murphy on YouTube, Pat's D is a sieve. Love that word, great term. I hope the offense can roll, not sputter all night. It's going to be a shootout. Look, as bad, I said this at the top of the show, I'll say it again. As bad as the Patriots defense has been, the Falcons defense has not been great, and they've played an easier schedule to this point. We're going to see a lot of points tonight. A lot of points. So buckle in, pound that over if you still can, as we got about 20 minutes to kick off here. And it's not going to be one of those fun old school Patriots blowouts we're used to. This is going to be a battle. But again, Patriots tongue-in-cheek 28-3. Probably a little more realistic 35. What did I say? 35-28, 35-28 Patriots. One touchdown, only touchdowns, I guess, is that prediction. It's just kind of a gut feeling on the score. Maybe 2 field goals and a safety, I think. You can get to 35 without with something besides a touchdown. I'm not going to do that math in my head right now. I do not believe the Falcons have played the Panthers yet. No. So if you have any other questions, again, talking Patriots and Falcons leading up to kickoff, taking the last of your questions here on the CLNS Media Patriots pregame show. Getting ready for the Patriots and the Falcons tonight. A little Sunday night football, which means we get a little Carrie Underwood. All right, still Carrie Underwood. Yeah, I'm still waiting for Hank Williams. Monday night against the Ravens in December. I'm not going to get into political stuff. I just love that song. I think that's the origin of the country music NFL Open is Hank Williams. I am always ready for some football with the Rowdy Friends and all that. I actually wrote a column today for CouchGuySports.com. The best time slot to have your team playing, and I have Sunday night as number 2. After the 4 o'clock is the best because you get to red zone in the morning, you get to sleep in, enjoy yourself. You play the game, and you still have enough time after the game to kind of go about your business you need to get ready for the week. So I like the 4 o'clock, but I think Sunday night's up there as well. One of a few primetime games for the Patriots. Yeah, I think they have 2 left. No, because the Oakland game's a 4 o'clock game. I believe I know they have a Monday night against the Ravens. That actually might be it for primetime game. Who knows? Maybe they'll get flexed week 17 against the Jets, given how that team's been playing. All right, that is going to do it for the show this week. Our coverage continues with Mike Petraglia on Twitter. You can follow him at Trags. Mike and Marv have you after for all the CLNS coverage of the Patriots at CLNS Media on Twitter. You can follow me at TheRealAlexB. My Twitter is down there below in the video description. I'll be tweeting throughout the game. Everybody enjoy it. We will be back next week. It's a 12 o'clock start, Patriots and Chargers. Until then, again, this has been the CLNS Media Patriots pregame show brought to you by Greats. My name is Alex Barth. I will talk to you all next week. Enjoy the game tonight, everybody. Bye.